What's going on, everyone? Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. We're going to be talking about that hidden Cuban agenda. Yes, the Cuban agenda that I talked about so many times on the Forbidden Knowledge podcast. And here we go. Another prophetic moment is actually happening right before our very eyes. Okay? Right before our very eyes, another prophetic moment. I had talked about this right at the time that they were going to go into Venezuela. And that video was on this account. You can find that I did several podcasts on this account about Venezuela. So it's going to be a good talk tonight, because I'm going to talk to you about why Cuba, why now, what's the deal, what's going on, why do they want Cuba, and we're going to explore that. And we're going to see some clips, a couple of video clips. I see everyone filling up the live chat. You should be able to turn your sound on. My sound seems to be working perfectly fine. Let me see in the live chat if you can hear my voice. Let me know in the live chat if you can hear my voice. All right. And okay, here we go. Natalie, Andrea. Okay, here we go. Admiral, what's up? Express. They call me. Okay, y'all can hear me. That's great. Justin Meds. All right, cool. All right, so good. Let's get this thing pulled up. Make sure we click that like button, get the algorithm going. And let's go ahead and share the video and get this thing going. Okay. Let's see what we got right now. We got 267 and counting. It's growing pretty fast. We're live on Instagram as well. Let's see, Instagram. Let's see where we are on Instagram here. For some reason, I can't see the IG numbers anymore, but I can see them over here. 243 on IG. What's going on, Elvis? What's going on, Top Level Rudy? Okay. Baltimore, Washington. Miss Jackson, what's happening? All right. Okay, Miss Gates. Okay, here we go. B-Mar. All right. For those of y'all that are on IG, I am also live on YouTube. If you want to go to the Forbidden Knowledge Podcast Network on YouTube with the number 4 Forbidden Knowledge Podcast Network, I am live on YouTube right now. All right. So thank y'all for joining me tonight. If you remember, months ago, the administration had put their eyes on Venezuela, and they decided to go ahead and steal Venezuela. And why Venezuela? Well, because Venezuela has a massive amount of crude oil. Now, the oil in Venezuela isn't that great, truth be told. It needs a special additive to make it flow properly through the pipelines. It needs special treatment, right? It's not easy. You don't just extract it out of the ground and then sell it. It's a little bit more to it than that. There's a process it has to go through before it actually can become usable to generate any type of energy. But there are so many hidden agendas behind Venezuela as to why they wanted to take Venezuela. Okay? The first thing is the globalist agenda of the Zionists coming out of Israel. That globalist Zionist agenda is not only to expand throughout the Middle East, they eventually want to take over the continent of Africa, and they want to take over South America. They want to be involved in Argentina, and they want to expand on. They also want that oil, which ironically, after they convinced Trump to go there and steal the oil, the first productive barrels of oil went to who? Went to Israel. Exactly as predicted. Okay? Exactly as predicted. So they went to this country. They abducted the president and his wife. They're probably sitting in black site prison somewhere in the middle of the ocean on some kind of a boat, or maybe a hole in the ground in some underground system beneath the mountains, never to see the light of day again. took the country, civil unrest, and on top of that, installed a puppet dictator. That dictator that they installed, direct connection to Israel and Mossad. Direct connection, not a side connection, not a kind of connected, direct connection. The whole thing was orchestrated by Israel. And again, utilizing the Epstein files as leverage, you can get this administration to do whatever you want them to do, because they would rather commit egregious acts and war crimes instead of being exposed for the PDFs that they truly are. If you go back in time, let's pull up an old clip that I pulled up, and I added it to some excitement that I saw a few months later from someone in the administration. Here's the clip that I actually made it in the podcast. Than what you can even imagine. Operation Northwoods was a 1960. So yes, it's about the oil, but there's even a bigger agenda than what you can even imagine. Operation Northwoods was a 1962 U.S. Department of Defense plan that proposed having false flag attacks on American soil to justify a full-scale war with who? With Cuba. Venezuela is the route to Cuba. It's not a conspiracy theory. They tried to take Cuba back then. The chosen ones have been trying to get their hands on Cuba for quite some time. Well, the ones who think they're chosen. And now they finally have their puppets in place to make it happen. Trump isn't really the president of the United States. Netanyahu, he's the president. They have their route through Venezuela, and now they are going to take Cuba. That's the ultimate prize.
Cuba is a communist dictatorship. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans.
Going to have the allies. Who are the greatest ally to America, according to these poly tricksters? Israel. Israel is quote unquote their greatest ally. Israel is their puppet master. And Satan Yahoo is the president of the United States. It's not the people you think are running. The people you see on TV are the puppets. The puppet master behind the scenes is pulling all the strings. And so that was a very long time ago that I made that video. I had one of my teammates pull that clip out for me for tonight for you to see. Like, this is all laid out. This whole thing is laid out, man. So Operation Northwoods was a big operation that was taking place in 1962. And this is because Israel wanted Cuba. They wanted Cuba. And they were already flexing, their strength and their agenda on the poly tricksters back then, to get them to work with them to do these dark agendas and to go on these dark missions, to commit genocides and everything else you could think of. And they wanted Cuba. Why Cuba? Because they would set up shop in Cuba, clean it off, fresh, clean real estate, collaborate with the United States in construction, make high rises and beachfront properties, and move their people, a percentage of them, over here. More globalist expansion for the Zionists. So it was 1962. This is pretty much during the height of the Cold War. A lot of y'all might be too young to understand what that was, but I grew up during the Cold War, where we used to get up underneath our desk in school and pretend like a nuclear bomb was going off, and we would huddle underneath our desk, like, to go through these different these different scenarios, as if huddling underneath your desk was going to stop you from getting irradiated from a nuclear strike. It was the craziest thing anyone can ever see. What they were teaching us and what they were showing us in reference to protecting ourselves from a nuclear strike. It was, come on, ridiculous. And so we had the Cold War that was between the United States and Russia. But during this, Israel was already setting its global agenda in place. They had already been working on that since the 1920s. They failed in parts of Europe, obviously through Poland and throughout Germany. Their attempt to take Germany failed miserably. Who decided to go to war against Hitler? It was them. They made a public announcement that they were going to go against Germany. And Germany said, no, the hell you ain't. And you know the rest is history. But they drew first blood, just like we drew. They made us draw first blood on Iran. This is their MO. This is how they operate. They wanted Cuba for a very, very long time. A very long time. And they finally found the right puppet to make it happen. They had enough dirt on one senile, dementia person that can pull enough strings, that has enough dark influences around him, speaking into his little ears to make him do whatever they want. Building up his ego and making him feel pumped up because he's a malignant narcissist. So when you pump up his ego, he wants to beat his chest. Even though you're pulling the strings, you trick him into believing that he's pulling his own strings. He can't see he's being led around as a dog. He's being led around like a dog, but he can't tell because he's a malignant narcissist. It's almost impossible for them to recognize it. It would be impossible for him to see it because he can't see it. And they're just playing him like a fiddle. He can't even tell he's being played. He has no clue he's being played. He thinks he's in complete control. It's the ultimate level of manipulation. It's the greatest manipulation of a malignant narcissist I've ever seen. Hell, they need to start a university class on how they did this. This is phenomenal neuroscience. Because some of the relationships I was in a relationship with a malignant narcissist. I would have utilized some of these techniques to get what I wanted. Goodness, they're good at this. So, 1962, what do they want to do? They said the only way for us to get Cuba is to go in there and attack it. We have to make it into a war. We have to have a good excuse, a good reason to use American tax dollars to go and steal an entire country. So they said, you know what? Operation Northwoods. What we're going to do is we're going to do a secret operation, a covert mission. This happened with no congressional oversight. And they decided to create a fake terrorist attack on U.S. cities. And the two biggest cities included Miami and Washington, D.C. Yeah, D.C. So they were going to have a false flag attack in Miami. And this is declassified documentation, by the way. Just go on Google and look for the declassified Operation Northwoods documents, and you can download them from the government website. That's how open this knowledge is. They were going to unalive people in Miami, and they were going to unalive people in Washington, D.C., most likely a prevalent poly trickster. They were going to sacrifice one of their own for the cause. And that would give them the impetus to say, hey, America, we've got to go take Cuba now because we got to go get revenge. They were going to hijack, listen to this now. This is the 1960s. They were going to hijack a commercial plane with Americans on it and destroy it. More sacrifices. They were going to hijack an American airplane with American civilians on the plane and sacrifice them for this Operation Northwoods. They were going to sink boats carrying Cuban refugees. They were going to have simulated attacks on U.S. military bases. Does that sound familiar to you? And they were going to create fake evidence to blame Cuba for all of the events. All of it was going to be blamed on Cuba. Every single stitch of it was going to be blamed on Cuba. As if these people had enough resources to get out of their 1955 Chevy Thunderbirds and somehow get their hands on all this military equipment. I mean, have you ever seen Cuba? They're living in a time warp. They're still in the 1950s. And somehow they jumped from the 1950s to the 1960s technology to do all these crimes. Let me tell you the level that this operation got to. This operation was so thought out and planned for quite some time, and it was signed off by everyone behind the scenes. It was even signed off by the Joint Chief of Staff. The Joint Chief of Staff signed off on unaliving American citizens in 2 different states, in 2 cities, hijacking commercial airplanes with Americans on it and sacrificing them, and most likely sacrificing one of their own politricksters or somebody really important in Washington, D.C. was going to be sacrificed for this. And then creating more false flags in the waters off the coast and then blaming it on Cuba. The Joint Chief of Staff signed off on this. Are these even human beings? And then the only reason why this thing didn't pop off, because it got to Kennedy, JFK. JFK reviewed this and said, what the hell are y'all trying to do here? And JFK said, nah, man, we're not doing this on my watch. So he refused to authorize the plan. So it was never carried out. If it wasn't for JFK, Cuba would already be inhabited by Mossad and the IDF right around the corner from America, right about a couple 100 miles away. Great for surveillance and more manipulation. It was basically one of the things they tried to pull after they failed with the Bay of Pigs invasion. That was an absolute failure and embarrassment. The more I look back on what America has done and their attempts to go on these covert and overt missions, there's a lot of failures. There's tons and tons of failures and disasters that they leave in the wake for the people who live in those areas. It's really bad. This whole situation is what led to the Cuban Missile Crisis in the first place. We created the Cuban Missile Crisis, not them. We created it, just like we created the Straits of Hormuz to be closed. We created this global catastrophe with energy and oil right now. We created that. Iran didn't create anything. We created that. And now it's like they're trying to say, well, these guys are terrorists and this is why we got to do this. These people ain't terrorized nobody. If some of their citizens are not happy with them, hey, that's their problem. We got bridges, medical care, veterans committing unalivings to themselves every single day. We have all kind of people on drugs here in America. We have so many problems to work on over here. Let them people work on their own situation and get their own self straight if you feel that there's something wrong over there. But we need to be paying attention to what right here at home. Every single day in America, 27 veterans unalive themselves. And this has been going on consistently since 2001. Iraq. Over 300,000 American veterans have unalived themselves since 2001. And we're worried about people across the water. Oh, they don't like their leader. You've been brainwashed. You've been hoodwinked. You've been led astray, as Malcolm X would say. So they were going to commit these false flag operations. They almost got it done, like they just came this close to getting it done. If JFK would have been a puppet for Israel, which he wasn't, he would have done it. And because he didn't do it, amongst a few other things that he was exposing, shortly after that, he was unalived. No more JFK. Out of there. They got him out of there quick. They said, you know what? We need somebody that's going to play ball. Let's get one of those exploding mics. We're going to hit him in the grassy knoll. We're going to trick them into believing this one guy hit him, and we're going to hit him from a different angle. We're going to have the mafia involved and the CIA involved. The mafia will deliver the body to the airplane. The CIA will take the body from there. We live in a country where America unalive one of its own presidents in collaboration with Israel and the mafia. And then people go, the government will never do that. Really? This is what they declassified. Imagine what they still have classified. Imagine what's still classified. This is a tiny sliver of what's been going on. A tiny sliver. Just like a human being can only see less than 1% of the light spectrum. We pretty much only get red, green, and blue and a variation of those three colors to see what's going on around us. But we can't see in multispectrum, gamma ray, X-ray. We can't see in ultraviolet, infrared. We can't see in those other ranges. Metaphorically, we can't see what they're doing. We only get a sliver of what they give us. The agenda is so vast. The illusion is so great, it escapes our perception. Thank you, Myra. Appreciate it. It escapes our perception. And they're up to no good 24/7. They're up to no good. And the thing that sucks about all of this really is that it doesn't have to be this way. Like, there's so much that they could do with the power and the ideas and the minds that they have to make this a positive, enlightening, happy world. I don't know why they can't see that they can be just as abundant or even 10x the abundance that they already have by not being so dark and evil. That not only can they get joy for lifting mankind up and moving mankind forward, but they can also live a life far more glorious and rewarding than what they're living right now. Most of them are just prisoners in their own homes. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. Not because they're famous. It's because so many people want to unalive these psychos. They have so many enemies all over the place. Instead of making friends and lovers, they're making enemies. Instead of being an assistant to mankind, a great servant, which is what they are, they're like an anchor pulling us down. They're capsizing the entire civilization. We call it the ship of civilization is capsizing. And for some reason, they just can't see how they can utilize their strengths in a positive way and transform an entire world and take joy in the transformation of a planet. They themselves can live for 1,000, 2,000 years. They themselves can travel the stars. They themselves can live a glorious life, full of acknowledgement and recognition and appreciation. Instead, they're just content with lying, deceiving, genociding, hating, unaliving. It's so mind-bending that you get to a position where you have so much power and you squander it. You squander it. It takes me to that old parable that's in the Bible where 3 people were given some wealth. They were given some money. And one man put his money underneath a rock. And when he came back, the money had turned to dust. This is what they remind me of. They think that they've made all this great progress with all this illegal activity that they've done, these RICOs that they're running. But at the end of the day, they haven't become famous. They become infamous. And they become a stain on humanity itself. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And I'm trying to wrap my mind around this whole Cuba situation. Let's see what Trump is talking about here with Cuba.
It's in Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it.
You see the ego kick in? He started off trying to address it kind of quasi-gently. He was almost a little bit stuttering on his words there. But once the guy said, take it, then that's that malignant narcissist kicked in. Yeah, you're damn right I could take it. I could do whatever I want with it. Now let's see what's happening to Cuba right now. So they hit Venezuela. Venezuela was the key to get into Cuba. Why? Because Cuba uses Venezuela, or used to use Venezuela, for some protection, because they don't have a military, clearly. And also, their power grid runs off of the crude oil that was coming from Venezuela. So once they got the oil from Venezuela, it's a twofold operation. We steal the oil, we lock down the country, we put a puppet dictator, and now we can move all the Israelis and the Mossad agents and the IDF and the Zionists over here. We can knock all these houses down and create brand new properties. We got extensive amount of land now for generations to come to rebuild an entire country. At the same time, two birds with one stone, we steal that oil and we cut off Cuba. Cuba needs that oil for their power grid. So now their power grid is on a limited supply of oil. And as of just yesterday, the last drop of oil in Cuba ran out. And so now there's no more oil to power the grid in Cuba. So now they have zero electricity. This is his idea of taking over a country. Let's take a look at how he's going to take this country over. The power is out. Now, since the electricity is out, that means a few things. Number one, there's no running water anymore. Now there's no running water. There's no desalination or cleaning of the water through the sanitation. There's also, guess what? No electricity at the hospital. So people that were being hospitalized, they were already clinging life on very old technology as it was. Even that stuff doesn't turn on. There's no more gas pumps because you can't pump the gas if there's any gas left. There's no more food on the shelves. All the food is going to be completely consumed and used up or hoarded, and that's going to potentially create little tiny skirmishes as people are fighting over resources. Okay? As people are fighting over resources. Also, people that are sick on medicated medicines like insulin and other meds that need to be refrigerated, they don't have a refrigerator, which means that those people are now going to pass away. Some people are going to go into insulin shock, and other people are going to have all kind of whatever the medicine was helping them avoid, they won't be able to avoid it anymore. So we're going to have a wide growing number of extremely ill and sick people because they don't have anything. And somebody said hospitals have generators. Hospitals' generators only run on fuel. And there's no more fuel going to Cuba. So when the generator's fuel runs out, there's no more generators to run. They'll start siphoning gasoline out of the cars, which they don't have that many of. That might give them a few extra days. And once they siphon all the gas tanks that exist on the entire island, and that runs out, they're SOL, shit out of luck. There's going to be children suffering. There will be adults suffering. There will be starvation. There will be illnesses running rampant. Viruses and bacterial infections will run rampant with no electricity and stagnant water. People will starve, will not only starve to death, but they also die of thirst. This is his idea of taking over a country. This is another genocide. It's another genocide. And it's only a few hundred miles away from where I live, off the coast of Florida. It's really inhumane. It's really horrific. It's only a matter of time before survival mode kicks in, and there'll be people trying to get whatever they can for their family or for themselves to live another day. And then after they get so sick and ill and famished, then they'll drop troops on the ground, and who knows how many they'll unalive. At that point, they'll be putting people out of their misery in some cases. They'll take the rest of them who are decently healthy, probably put them in black site prisons, and then they'll level the whole place and build high rises, oceanfront high rises all the way around. And this is what we're living to witness right now. We're witnessing this right before our very eyes. And it seems like nobody can go and arrest this guy. Nobody can stop this guy. He's literally fulfilling the wishes of a foreign state. It's pretty damning. I never thought that I would witness 3 genocides in my lifetime. I witnessed genocides in Africa, Gaza, and now another one, potential one over here in Cuba. It's insane. Absolutely insane. You know, it's mind-blowing. I just can't understand how people can operate like this. This is Trump's counter-terror advisor. This was the guy in charge of terrorism and potential threats to the United States of America. He resigned today because he realized that the whole war was fake, that the war was illegal, and that they are committing war crimes. And he realized today that if he doesn't step down and walk away, he's going to face those criminal charges at some point in the future. That they keep telling you those war crime trials are coming. Trump may not be a part of it because he's 79 years old. He's probably going to pass away within the next couple of years or so. But his cohorts, they're going to be held accountable. They will not go into the fifth age free men. They will be held accountable for these war crimes and these genocides. And I'm going to sit in the front row and watch them get the lethal injection. Today, the U.S. Air Force accidentally, on purpose, dropped 15 tons of explosive on Iraq instead of Iran and blamed outdated targeting data. Now, nobody believes this. Nobody believes this. You're not going to accidentally drop 15 tons of explosives on Iraq instead of Iran. They dropped 15 tons of explosive on Iraq because they were trying to eradicate and eliminate something in Iraq, most likely an area where they want to take over, an area where there's something stored there. There could be evidence that they want to eliminate. There's a reason. I have no idea what the reason is. I'm only hypothesizing, but there's a reason why they dropped 15 tons of explosives on our tax dollars on unsuspecting people. It just happened. You see, they put Trump up there. I mean, they put Bush up there grinning, Bush Jr. up there grinning because he was the guy who led us into Iraq in the first place. Another failed war, an absolute failure, an absolute embarrassment.
Gavin Newsom admitted that he has learning disabilities in the United States. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia.
He said Gavin Newsom. Now he's calling him scum, by the way. So he's calling Gavin Newsom new scum. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. I'm not a fan of any of these politricksters. But you just see that as the president of the United States, he's supposed to have a certain type of decorum about himself and a certain type of political correctness. And yet he doesn't have that because he's a malignant narcissist. And he's saying that President Newsom, and is he giving us, did he speak the silent part out loud? Is that going to be the next president of the United States? Did he already know that and forgot to cover it up? Who knows?
Look what happened in the last 2 weeks. They weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked.
Nobody expected that. We were shocked. I wasn't shocked. And neither was Congress. Congress wasn't shocked either. You did this with no congressional oversight. You did this with no advance notice or intel from any of your generals. They told you not to do it, as a matter of fact, and you decided to do it anyway. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And he's acting like, I can't believe they started bombing these other areas. Well, they were using strategy, something you haven't used. They were bombing ports where military ships would need to restock and reload, areas where boats would dock, bombing military bases, which, by the way, there's well over 120-something injured and unalived KIA Americans. It's closer to 600, by the way, and probably closer to 70 to 100 that are actually being held as prisoners of war in Iran right now, which is why they won't drop a nuke on them, because we got Americans in there, a lot of them. They took down a whole SEAL team. They poked the bear this time. They poked the freaking bear.
If we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time. We have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. This isn't need. Need would be one of the big boys. If we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may have because of a situation that they have, they should be jumping to help us. We want them to come and help us with the strait. My attitude is, we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them.
Did you follow that?
So he's reading a script, but the script was written for him by a non-narcissistic mind. So as he's reading a script, within the same speech, he can't come to terms with himself going by what that person wrote. He's got to bucket. He's got to be like, nah, man, we're good, and we're this and we're that. And so 1 second he's reading the script, which is talking real. The next second he's ad-libbing what's on his narcissistic brain. The guy's all over the place. There's got to be some rule or law for the person that's running the ship when they're going down and taking the whole damn ship down with them. Somebody's got to be able to step in and say, we got to remove this guy. We got to remove this guy. The ship is going down. It's plain to see. It's just plain to see. It's one of the wildest things I've ever been able to witness in my life. And all the insider trading that they're doing, they're trading on the blockchain where you can see the wallets. And you can pull their wallets and you can see what they've been doing. A lot of insider trading. I know that the youngest son, I guess they gave him $50 million to buy 50 million in oil futures 2 days before he dropped the bomb on Iran and announced the war. That money has already made about 250 million insider trading. All right.
$30 million in Bitcoin. Barron Trump invested $30 million in Bitcoin 30 minutes before Donald Trump's China tweet last week. Turns out that wallet cashed out at $190 million just 24 hours later, which is just proof that Barron Trump and the Trump family did insider trading with Bitcoin. And it is a shame that the president of the United States, who's apparently a billionaire, has to rely on tactics like this to make his 6'8" son rich.
Well, he's got to do that because these people have no talent. They have no skill. He's only got a few years left to live, so he's trying to scrape and scrap everything he can from that trust fund because these people aren't going to be able to make any money on their own. Anyway, it's pretty interesting what's going on. They own all the social media, they meaning obviously Israel. TikTok, they've influenced and scared the living daylights out of Elon Musk. He's completely acquiesced to their pressure. And whatever they tell him to do, he does it. Meta and Instagram have already folded. Google, YouTube folded. So they're, of course, they're running all this data, and all these metadata is all being run through Palantir. So I've gone and created a brand new social media platform that's free. It's called Unite the 99. I've had it for years, but I actually had a very old version of it, which wasn't functioning so well. But now with new programming, new coding, AI, I brought it back. And right now it's in beta mode. You can get a free account. The app isn't on the App Store yet. It's been just submitted to the App Store today, but there's a web version and an app version. They both work together just like Instagram does or Facebook does. And it doesn't cost any money. 100% free. And the best part about it, it doesn't run on any Israeli platforms. It doesn't run on Mossad, IDF, no FBI, CIA, no three-letter agencies, no algorithm that sucks you dry and tries to force things you don't want to see down your throat. No propaganda engine built into it. Just good old-fashioned social media the way it's supposed to be. And the back end is on Anthropic. Anthropic went against the US government. Look it up. They just filed a lawsuit against Trump because Trump wanted to use Anthropic AI to control the military. And he wanted it to give full autonomous ability to actually order its own strikes. He wanted AI to make decisions on unaliving people. And they said, hell no. I'm going to drop the link in the live chat right now. It's unitethe99.app, UNITETHE99.app, unitethe99.app. Like I told you, I just bring solutions. I'm sick and tired of playing games with these people. And it's not about being a worrier and a crybaby. It's about being a warrior and finding solutions to problems. So I got Anthropic backing this up, an AI that won't sell out to the government or Mossad. And that's the back end for this. And nobody is going to be in there sending you Zionist propaganda. It's not going to happen. Unite the 99. You can get on the beta mode right now. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you any money. You can log in, create an account, log in, and start posting right away. When the app is live on the app stores. You can then just download the app. It works on both the web and an app format, just like Instagram or Facebook does. It's a combination of Facebook and Instagram features. So you can, hot linking works in there. You can post things in there. You can post videos, photos. You can embed YouTube videos. It's very multifunctional. It's very multifunctional. You can follow, unfollow, block people. One thing I do not have DMs, because that's where the scammers hide. They hide in the DMs. So there are no DMs, but I do have verified accounts, and you can request to be verified if you have any notoriety whatsoever. You can get a verified account, and we'll get you verified. UniteThe99.app. UNITETHE99. Why Unite the 99? Because we're the 99%. They're the 1%. And the 99% of the world has to unite. We're the 99% that's out here being taken advantage of by the 1%. And it's time for us to put that to an end. It's time for us to unite. It's time for us to work together. It is time for us to collaborate. It is time for us to drop this divide and conquer garbage so that we can learn how to build a better world together. Period, point blank. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what religion you are. All I care about is that we come in here to collaborate. There are 2 rules in here. No racism, no bullying. And of course, there's a third one, obviously. Nothing to do with anything dealing with being a predator against children and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is in my privacy policy, and all of that's in there already, you know. But this is about, man, bringing the world together on a clean platform with zero influence from these outside sources, digging in our business, sending us propaganda, and creating divide and conquer tactics to keep us separated. It's got to come to an end. So I'm bringing the solution, and I found an AI platform that's a rebel, and I'm going with Anthropic. That's what the backbone is, Anthropic with Claude. And that's what I'm using. I'll drop the link in the live chat again, UniteThe99.app. It's time to stop dealing with these people in the way that we're dealing with them. We got to do something different. Albert Einstein said, you can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. And what we keep trying to do is keep trying to solve a problem with the same level of consciousness. We got to change something. We got to do something different. That means we got to hop on our own platforms. We got to find ways that we can bring ourselves together outside of them, outside of the propaganda engine. Israel paid Google $50 million for propaganda ads. I mean, come on, man. How do we compete with that? How do we wake people up with that? We got to get people on our own platforms. We have to get people on our own platforms. Unite the 99 doesn't cost you any money. It's totally free. The app will be, consistently improved, and new features and functions will always be added. And it will never cost you any money. It will be free. Not one penny. Not one penny. Okay? Yes, what a wild scenario has been going on here. I know that the Hopi prophecies that we're going to go out, they're going to go out kicking and screaming. Then they said with a calamity and a loud noise, the fourth world is going to end. And this is the calamity, and this is the loud noise. We are witnessing it right here, right now. And unfortunately, the only thing we can do about it is learn how to come together and collaborate. And the second thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do a global mass meditation. We have to do something that's in the quantum field, something that they can't manipulate. Our own platforms and the quantum field, virtually untouchable. I'm going to organize this mass meditation over the next few weeks. It's going to be a global mass meditation to bring people together in solidarity, but also to focus on reducing this global pressure that people are feeling, reducing the suffering that's going on to some percentage point. We know that that works. So we're going to tap into our power and we're going to make it happen. There's nothing else we can do. We can't go to war against the governments. Picketing in the street doesn't work. Crying on TV doesn't work. You know, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tap into the quantum field. And we're going to utilize it for power. We're going to tap into our own power. Okay? That's what we're going to do. I appreciate every single one of y'all for just being here to even just listen. Some people might not agree with me 100%. And guess what? That's okay. At the end of the day, we still got to work together. Because at the end of the day, all of us here still have future generations ahead of us. And this is the world that we're going to leave them in if we don't find a way to work together and do something about it now. This can't continue. It just can't. Shame on us if it does. Shame on us if we let this continue on 3 more generations. It's a stain on us. It's not a stain on these people doing these deep, evil, dark agendas. They're doing what they were going to do anyway. It's a stain on us for allowing it to continue. At some point, we got to draw a line in the sand, man, and we got to say enough. Enough already. I'm sitting here in Florida, and a few hundred miles away in Cuba, there are kids suffering. Wild. It's a wild, wild thing, man. I want to share one last thing with y'all. It's just, you know, it's really unconscionable what they're doing here. It's like, man, I mean, just have some level of empathy. Just show a fraction of humanity for people, but they can't do it. They just can't do it. They're so locked into this darkness. They remind me of Anakin from Star Wars, you know? They get so locked in. It's like, man, they can't break free. There's just something I want to drop in this live chat for y'all. One of the things I've been doing every Tuesday night, and tonight's Tuesday night, is I'm going to go live at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's about 45 minutes from now. I'm going to go live. And I'm going to do a mentoring session tonight. You can join me for free tonight. You can join me for free for the next 7 days. And just click this link, fill out this form, and join tonight. Tonight, we're going to give away $300. Every week, we give away money. But tonight's a special night. We're going to give away $100 to 2 people live for just being in the mentoring session. We've been doing it now for 5 weeks straight, I believe. And then we're going to give away another bonus on top of that, which we had promised that we'd do. So we're giving away, I believe, $300 tonight. So you might just join tonight and be in the live session and win $100. You have to be there, though. If you're not there, we just give it to another person. We have this thing called the Wheel of Abundance, and we click it and it starts spinning. And then the name that pops up from the people that are in the live class and the entire community, really, but the live class people are going to be there mostly to win. We haven't had one session where somebody didn't win because they weren't live. They were always there in the live session. But we'd love to have you there tonight. I'll drop the link in the live chat again. Okay. And if you're interested, check it out, fill it out. And we love to see you in about 45 minutes. Now about 43 minutes, I'll go get live, and going to have a good mentoring session tonight and a good live Q&A tonight as well. I'll be able to answer your questions. All right. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please continue to share this video. The world's got to hear, man. We got to wake up. We have to wake up. We're up, but we got to get to another level. Being awake isn't enough. Now it takes action. Action equals manifestation. We got to make a move, man. We got to drop all these stupid little things between us, competition and color and race and money and all that. We got to drop it. We got to get to the nitty gritty. How do we save this planet and how do we save our families? How do we save the future? All right. Links in the live chat. It's also in the caption of this video. It's also in my bio, wherever you're watching, on IG or maybe X. The link's in my bio. I'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right? Peace.